Well, hello, everybody. This is Dr. Monica Powell. I'm the Senior Associate Dean here at the Jindal School of Management at the University of Texas at Dallas. And look at that amazing campus in this picture. You're actually looking at the Jindal School of Management right there, that beautiful atrium entrance. You'll see our building and directly behind that another building. And what you also see in this picture is how it looks most of the time here in North Texas. That beautiful mall with our reflecting pools. We want to get you really excited about your futures here at the Naveen Jindal School of Management. So let's get this webinar underway. And first of all, I want to just thank all of the students for taking time out of what I know are really busy schedules back in your home countries, dealing with many of the things that you're dealing with, to come and be with us. We know that as you are going through difficult times in your home countries, that all of you are calling to action what is needed, which is resilience. And even when things look really dire, we have an opportunity to be resilient. And so, Norma, show us the example of resilience of our students. You know, there have been times that have challenged our souls, and this is certainly one of those. And we want to be very understanding and sympathetic of the situations that many of our students are facing in your home countries. And we want all of you to know that we're sending our thoughts to your families and being hopeful that there are going to be quick return to normal days. And we just applaud just the resilience of how you want to get moving forward in your lives. And it's one of those times where even when times are difficult, you got to launch your life and start thinking about the future. There will be an end to the pandemic. And Norm, if you'll move to the next slide, you'll see that there's no better time than right now to start working on your dreams. And we know that that brings a lot of questions, a lot of concerns about how you'll take classes, and concerns about immigration and, you know, launching your career and your future. And we have an entire army of people here that are ready to help answer many of those preliminary questions. Because the message that we want to send to all of our prospective students around the world, and in this case, all of our admitted students around the world, is that there's something really pretty special about the University of Texas at Dallas. You know, we're 16 months into a pandemic, and we've been asked to pivot constantly as circumstances are changing, and we are ready to help pivot to make your dreams happen in the next several years of your life. So who's here to help with this webinar today? Let me introduce some of the primary people that you're going to hear from. Of course, myself. I'm also the graduate dean here in the Jindal School. I absolutely love what I do. It is such an honor to get to meet so many students and their families as prospective students, and then celebrate in the victories of them being admitted to our competitive programs, and then to watch them grow and soar in our programs. But there are many people here who make that happen, and all of those people are with us today. You're going to hear from Karina Cantua. She runs one of the most important operations here in our school, the part of your journey that helps you get registered for classes, get you applying for graduation, making sure that you've met all of the degree requirements. And her and her team are fabulous, and you're going to hear from her today. We also have Josephine Vida. She is our director of our International Students and Scholars Office here on campus. And of course, given that this is the magical home of so many international students from around the world, we have a great partner in the International Students and Scholars Office, what we call the ISSO, and she is here to address a lot of really critical and important questions that you're going to have today as you figure out how to navigate getting to the U.S. and moving your life and your career forward. We also have with us all of the degree program directors, the people whom you know by name, that run all of these great degree programs, from our business analytics program to our ITM to our information technology management program. All of our 13 different master's programs are here today, so that they can also hear this information and be able to answer your questions after this webinar is over. And then we're also honored to have the Dean of Graduate Studies for the entire university here with us today. And you'll hear from him at the end of the presentation. And his name is Dr. Juan Gonzalez. So let's get this journey underway. Let's attack all of these questions that you guys have. And I want to review just quickly some of the things that we're going to cover so that you can start to think about the questions that you might have that you'll be able to put into the chat a little bit later in this presentation. You know, I think the first thing that I just want to reassure all of you is that, you know, UT Dallas is a proactive and strategic university. We're always thinking about what is best for our students. And in the last 16 months, we have pivoted in the most remarkable way. When we went to shelter in place back in March of 2020, within 2 weeks, we had everything orchestrated so that our students didn't miss a beat in terms of getting ready for classes. We immediately launched to many different modes of course instruction. And in the past, in order to accommodate the rapidly changing environment, we've pivoted to everything from streaming our classes to providing recorded classes to asynchronous instruction. And it is important for all of you to know that we are ready to take care of you. And once you enroll, we're going to pivot again to make your futures happen. I'll just share with everybody that this is graduation week here at the campus. And many of the students that are graduating now are students who have spent the bulk of their degree program in a pandemic. And I recorded a graduation video that I sent out yesterday, and a bunch of students reached out and they were like, you know, I landed this great internship. I've got this great OPT offer. And it is just amazing how, despite all of the challenges that COVID has brought for every higher education institution, that we have met that challenge and our students have been successful. And we are excited about doing that for all of you as you lean in to coming to be a part of the Jindal School of Management. Now, it is critical. Your safety, your health are just of paramount importance to us. And we're going to talk about that in a couple of slides about how we're making that a #1 priority here. In this webinar, we're going to talk about, you know, the process for getting you enrolled in your fall classes and what classes should you enroll in. And we're going to specifically give you that information as you look in the next couple of weeks to build that schedule that works for you. We're going to tell you which classes to consider in that portfolio. We're going to talk about managing your arrival here in North Texas and what that means from an immigration perspective. And then we're also going to tell you that good times are ahead, better times are ahead. And we know that you are in very difficult circumstances in your home countries. We know that there is positiveness in the future. And we want everyone, despite the difficulties, to not stop living their life and start moving their dreams forward. And we want to help be a part of that. And then I guess the last thing I just want to point out to everybody is that this is an amazingly fluid time. You know, 5 weeks ago, it didn't look like the next wave was going to hit India. And 3 weeks ago, it did hit India and other countries in Southeast Asia. So everything changes very quickly. But what's important for you to know is that we are nimble and we can handle that. And we are going to be prepared to take care of you as you make plans to get here, even if it's not quite on time. So just stay connected as things change, because we're gonna be quick to make modifications that are going to help you. So let's move forward to the next slide and let's talk about specifically health and safety, because this is really important. I think that many of you are staying tuned to the news, and you know that life in the U.S. is rapidly returning to pre-COVID standards. We've been through a lot in 16 months, but you know, Jamie Dimon, who runs JP Morgan Chase, just said in the news last week, hey, I'm done with this Zoom. We're all getting back to the work and to the offices. Here in the Jindal School, our entire building will return to normal on June 1. So things are coming back here. Everything is returning to normal, mostly related to the opportunities to get the COVID vaccine. When you arrive here on campus, there will be COVID testing available for you. Vaccines will be available for you right here on campus as well. I hope that that will reassure some of your families. We know that vaccines have been difficult to come by in some countries, but here you'll be able to get it. We're going to ask our students to quarantine for that first arrival for 3 to 5 days so that you can get that COVID test done. And if you happen to have COVID, which we don't think that will be the case because we know you have to negative test to eventually get on a flight. But if by chance you do, you'll quarantine and come out of that, get a vaccine, and then join us in classes. And then also, even if you don't get a vaccine here on campus, they are available everywhere. Between my house and the university, which is only 10 minutes, there are 6 drugstores that are already advertising that those vaccines are available for walk-in. And then the other great thing is that you know that as an international student, you would be required to have health insurance. And you'll see that link at the bottom of the screen, and we're going to be sending out these slides to all of you, so you don't have to try and write those URLs down, but that's where you can learn about our health insurance program that is available to all students. So I guess the number one question is, you know, classes and your arrival. So Norma will pitch to the next slide, and this is a really important set of information for you. You know, we are really mindful of your desire to make a plan. I think that's the best thing you can do when things are really difficult, is to have a plan, not to sit back and be apathetic, but get out there and say, I'm not going to let the situation define me. So we are mindful that you want to get started. We have gotten literally hundreds of emails, both in the ISSO and here in the Jendal School, where students want to get started thinking about it, which is why we're having this webinar today. We want you to know that if you enroll, we're going to be delivering you classes this fall. We're going to pivot in any which way that we need to, as we have demonstrated we can do in the last 16 months, and make that opportunity happen for you. The other thing is that all of you, I mean, there's some of you out there that were admitted early, that got visa appointments, already have your visa in hand, will now just need to get on a flight to get to the US, and you're cool and ready. There's some of you that are going to, you know, try to secure a visa appointment as soon as those offices are open, and it could affect your arrival, and Josephine's going to talk about that in terms of how you can report that so we know when you're coming. But I think what's really important is bullet point number 5. And I want all of you to look at that. With a visa, students can arrive 30 days prior to the following: the first day of class, within a week of classes, doing something specific, and Josephine's going to talk about that letter more concretely in just a second. And you can also arrive beginning at the 8-week point, which is around October the 18th. And after quarantining and making sure everything's cool, jump right into your classes and just get your journey underway. And then, of course, we're going to encourage every student. We aren't mandating that students be vaccinated, but we're absolutely going to encourage every student to do that. So Josephine, I want to bring you on the screen to replace me here. And I want you to talk about just those issues around reporting your visa, your issues around reporting late arrival. We are really aware that all of these embassies and many of these consulate offices are closed, and they're going to be opening at certain points. So Josephine, take it away and help these students understand some of the issues that they need to think about.
Thank you so much, Monica, for inviting me to speak with you, but also to give me a chance to address everybody on these questions. As Monica said, I work with the team of international student advisors who've been supporting you from the moment you get admitted and you're starting the I-20 process. If you have been reaching out to us by email, I know you've spoken with Derek and with Berkeley on our team. We're so happy that you're interested in coming, and we are here to facilitate your entry to the United States. So as Monica said, we know a number of you already have a visa. Some of you may have, planned to arrive in the United States in a previous semester, or may have a F1 visa already. For those students who have a visa or are able to obtain a visa, the best course of action is to arrive by the start of classes in the 30 days before classes start. That gives you lots of opportunities to get here, get settled, handle all of the quarantine and vaccine requirements that you're going to want to take care of so that you can stay safe and be ready to start classes. Whenever it is that you arrive, whatever date it is that you come, we do need to see copies of your immigration documents. We have to verify with Department of Homeland Security that after your entry to the United States, you have reported to our school and you have let us know that you're ready to begin your classes. So after arrival, as soon as you can, you want to go into the iComet portal. You're going to upload your immigration documents. It's going to be your I-94, it's going to be your signed I-20, and it's going to be your visa. And that's just so us to verify that everything is okay. If you are unable to arrive by the first day of classes, like Monica said, you can arrive. Sometimes you may not get a flight until the next day or 2 or 3 days. Really, you don't want to be past a week, but you can arrive within a short window of time after classes start. And what you really need to do is work with your academic department to get there, to make sure that they understand you're coming, but you're going to be a little bit late, and to get a late arrival letter for them that you can use to present when you're at the port of entry at the airport, to say my school and my professors know that I am coming, everything is fine, I am still going to be able to integrate and get started with our classes. All of the program directors of JSOM are familiar with this, and they're going to be able to help you get that late arrival letter. If you're not able to come by that point, another opportunity for you to arrive is by October 18th. This is an example of how UT Dallas has pivoted. We've allowed that entry at the second 8-week term, which was not an option prior to the pandemic. This allows you to enter in the 30 days before October 18th. So really you're looking at between September 19th and October 18th, and to be able to arrive in the United States. So make sure you reach out to the ISSO, let us know, I'm going to be arriving a little bit later. Please update my I-20 so that we can make the necessary changes, so your registration is fine, that we know to expect you, and all the support systems around our office are ready to support you when you arrive in the US. Whichever date you come, just as I mentioned, make sure that you're coming in the 30 days, within 30 days of the start of your I-20, and certainly not later than a week, and you need to have the letter from your department. If you have any questions about this or any other immigration issues related to arrival, you're always welcome to reach out to ISSO Perspective. Like I said, Derek and Berkeley are there to support you and get those answers to you as quickly as possible. I'll be speaking with you all later about some other issues. Karina is going to be next to speak with you about the enrollment.
Thank you, Josephine. Good morning from Richardson, Texas. I'm glad to be here to help provide some information regarding registration. There's definitely several things that you can do now that are going to make registration easy for you. So we want to go ahead and get started now, get some stuff done so that you have an easy time once you can actually register in courses. The first thing that we want to invite you to do is to actually take a look at a webinar that we put together. It's a registration webinar that has a lot of information, ins and outs of registration. You see the link on this slide, but as Dr. Powell mentioned, we're going to share this information with you, so you'll be able to get that link to be able to view that webinar. Within the registration webinar, you'll learn how to access Coursebook, which is where you're going to find information about course offerings each semester. And it's not just for your first semester, it also will be the place that you go to find information about your courses from this point forward. So it's a very important tool to get familiar with and learn how to use. In a few slides, I'm going to give you specific ideas regarding the courses you should concentrate on, including section numbers that you need to concentrate on for your first semester. Once you see those options, you'll be able to kind of explore those courses, find their course descriptions to just find out more about them. Along with that, you can look at our website, look at the catalog, and you will see why we chose those specific courses and how they fit into your degree requirements. So these are all things that you can start exploring now, learning now in preparation for registration. The last section on this slide is actually true for any semester. Once you're able to register, in order to protect your registration, meaning not getting dropped from what you have been enrolled in, you need to make sure that you pay your tuition on time, as well as follow through within any other pending requirements you may have, such as the TB test, immigration check-in, international orientation, as well as our own JSOM school orientation. Now, those items are specific to your first semester, but moving forward, if there's any other pending item that you have as a continuing student, you have to make sure that you take care of that in order to not to protect your registration, not get dropped from your courses. Okay, so now let's move on to the next slide to cover some more specifics regarding registration. So as you explore your degree requirements, you will find that you have an important program prerequisite to complete, which is Professional Development MAS 6102. That is applicable to all of our MS programs. If you're an MBA student, you actually will have MAS 6105, Communications for Management, as a program prerequisite for that degree. You will see that whenever we talk about first semester course recommendations, MAS 6102 for MS programs and MAS 6105 for MBA programs are always going to be part of the conversation because those are required for your first semester. The other requirement you will see from us mentioned is that if you plan on arriving on campus this fall, you have to make sure that you have at least 9 credit hours in your semester. A lot of our first semester, if not all actually, first semester students, when they're planning their courses, you will have your three credit hour courses that are for your degree plus your MAS 6102, which is actually going to give you 10 credit hours for your first semester. So that's a typical course load in a first semester for MS students. Even though today I'm going to briefly cover actually course recommendations, you're actually not going to be able to register in courses just yet. So that fourth bullet point that you see on that slide is really just a reminder that we're going to send you an email soon to let you know when you can actually start registering for courses, okay? The last consideration on this slide is actually regarding your official documents. You should work to submit your official transcripts and mark sheets, certifications to UTD as soon as you can, and if at all possible, before you depart the U.S. There are several items that you will need to take care of as part of your arrival in the U.S., so taking care of submitting your official documents can be something you can just check off your list, get it done, complete it, so that you don't have to be an additional item that you have to worry about later. Just if you can at all possible, take care of it now, send us that information now, allow us to go ahead and get your official documents in place and get your file complete so that you do not have to worry about that later. Okay, now with that, we're ready to take a look at some of the course recommendations for several of our MS programs. I won't be able to cover all of them due to time constraints, but don't worry, we do want to make sure that if your program is not one of the ones covered today, we will be in touch with you, we will still work with you, and we will still get you the information that you need. All right, okay, so I'll start with business analytics, which is on the page. Now you will see a common course on all of these slides that we mentioned earlier, which is MAS 6102. So every single one of these slides, you will see MAS 6102. The other thing that you'll notice is that we are not just noting the course itself, but we're also noting the sections that you need to concentrate on. So each of the courses have a dot 001, 002, dot 501. That's the section number. So when you go out into Coursebook and look at these courses, find out more details about them, make sure that you also pay attention to those section numbers. So for business analytics, the recommendation is to start with 3 main courses, which is BOEN 6320, Database Foundations for Business Analytics, BOEN 6356, Business Analytics with R, and then OPRE 6359, which you will also find listed as BUAN 6359, Advanced Statistics for Data Science. So those are very important first semester courses for business analytics. Those should be the ones that you take a look at based on these sections. And then there's a couple more options if you're looking to maybe take an additional course within your first semester, but take a look at the course description to make sure that that's a course you would want to take as part of your degree. And then as always, MAS 6102 is listed on here as an option as a program prerequisite that's required. All right, now let's move on to the next program, which is Msn Finance. So for Msn Finance, you see OPRE 6301 is listed. That is actually a program prerequisite. The finance department takes a look at all of our incoming MS Finance students to figure out whether or not they have sufficient background in statistics to determine whether they meet OPRE 6301 or not. So the program will give you more feedback on, is OPRE 6301 a course you should have in your first semester or not? If you actually get waived from OPRE 6301, then the course you must have in your first semester is Finance 6307, which is Mathematical Methods for Finance. And then all students in MS Finance should take Finance 6301 Financial Management, very important course in MS Finance, along with the Accounting 6305, which is Accounting for Managers. So that's kind of the combination of the 3 courses that you can have in your first semester. If you want to add an additional course option, they did recommend Finance 6325, perhaps as an option for you, but please make sure to take a look at the course description and see if whether or not that would be a good option for you. I do want to take a little bit of time to mention that all of the courses that are listed on these slides are recommendations from the programs. So they are the ones letting us know that these are the courses that they are recommending that you take, along again with the section numbers that you need to concentrate on, okay? All right, so now let's move to the next program, which is MSITM. On the MSITM slide, you'll see there's a lot of variety on the MIS options that you see that you could do. My recommendation for ITM is to go ahead and look at the catalog, look at the degree requirements, take a look at the concentrations that are possible within ITM, take a look at the electives that are possible within ITM. Some of those, if you're interested in those, are already listed as options on this slide. So if those are electives that you know you want to make part of your ITM degree and they're listed on this slide, you can start with those classes this first semester. Others may be courses that you know you're interested as courses you are going to take or very likely take as part of your ITM. If they're not already listed on the slide, I would recommend that what you do is that you look at the description along with the course prerequisites. Now, a prerequisite that you will learn, or you may already know, is a course that you have to take ahead of another course, right? You need to do a prereq before you're allowed to go into the next course. Take a look at those prerequisites of any of the electives that you're interested in, because that prerequisite may also guide what course selections you make for your first semester. So in your first semester, you may be able to take OPRE 6359, for example, instead of taking OPRE 6301, because OPRE 6359 is a prerequisite that is required for the course that you specifically want to take, maybe not this first semester, but a course that you want to take in a future semester. So ITM, take a look at the concentrations, look at the descriptions, figure out what you want to get out of your ITM program. And then if you do have questions, you're a little bit lost of how you make these selections, the program is here available to you to kind of help guide that conversation as well. All right, now let's go to management science. Now, in a similar way to ITM, management science also has some flexibility in your electives. When you pull up your management science in the catalog, you will see the elective options are concentrations, descriptions of the concentrations that are possible, but there's flexibility in what you can do with your management science degree. So you kind of have to first figure out what you want to get out of your management science degree. You can talk with the program as well to kind of help guide that conversation to then figure out what your first semester courses could be. The courses that are listed on this slide are actually core courses. These are good options if you maybe are still trying to figure out what you want to do with management science. These are core courses. They would still work for you, but kind of targeting that objective of what you want to get out of your management science degree is important and vital for choosing your courses. And you may find that maybe some of your course selections for management science are based on some of the courses that are listed on some of the other slides that we are sharing with you. So kind of explore, you have flexibility within management science to kind of build your degree from there. All right, now the next one I know is marketing. So let's go ahead and take a look at marketing. So for marketing, there is a very important course, Marketing 6301, Marketing Management, that is vital for you to take in your first semester. That's a core. You can take that along with your OPRE 6301, Statistics and Data Analysis, which is also an important core. And then the other option that is within your core is Marketing 6309. So if those are the 3 courses that you want to start with in marketing, those are good options for marketing. For marketing, similar to what I mentioned with ITM, you also kind of want to take a look at the tracks and the elective options that are available in marketing and take a look at some of the prerequisites, because those prerequisites may also guide you to take, for example, OPRE 6359 versus taking OPRE 6301. There's a couple more courses listed on this slide that are potential choices for you for your first semester. Take a look at those descriptions, see if those courses would be what you want to take within your marketing degree, and those could also be options for you. And I mentioning this in every single slide, but I want to take time to say MAS 6102, that's an important program prerequisite. You saw it listed in every single slide. It's listed on the marketing. Make sure that that is part of your schedule as you're putting it together. And then the last one that we're going to cover today is the supply chain degree. Now, for supply chain, there's two very important courses that you have to take in your first semester, which are OPRE 6301, Statistics and Data Analysis, and OPRE 6302, which is Operations Management. Those two are vital courses for you starting your first semester. That's why they're included on this slide. And then along with that, you can go ahead and also take OPRE 6371, which is a core requirement. So those could be your three options for supply chain management. And then you also have a couple more options if you want to get started maybe with some of the elective. Same as with the other programs, take a look at the descriptions, explore if that's the kind of course that you want to take. Perhaps you want to take 12 credit hours in your first semester instead of 9. Those are some options for you, along with MAS 6102 for your degree. All right, so now let's go to the next slide. Those were the programs that we had time to cover today. But if there's any program that we did not cover today, we will work with you. You can always send us an email to jsomgradvising@utdallas.edu. All the degree plan information is available in the catalog, is available on our web pages. So please start exploring, kind of take a look at those options, decide what courses you want to target. Remember to take a look at the section numbers because that's important. When you get this slide, pay attention to those section numbers. If you're an MBA student and you're joining us today, your main contact is actually mba@utdallas.edu. So go ahead and reach out to them if you have MBA specific questions. If you're double MS MBA, we would still work with you. JSOM Advising would still be your primary contact if you're double MS MBA. So make sure to reach out to us. And then we don't want to let you forget the requirements as program prerequisites, MAS 6105 for MBA, and a program prerequisite of MAS 6102 for the MS degrees. And with that, I think Dr. Powell has one final reminder related to registration. So I'll pass it on to her.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karina. I really appreciate that. And for your detailed coverage of those 5 programs, and then reminding students it's really important that in the next few weeks before we notify you that registration is open, we're working to remove holds so that you can register. Many of you have emailed us about, oh, there's this hold or there's that hold. Well, we're going to be moving those holds out of the way so that you can register. So we want you in the next few weeks while you have time to really study this deck, study these slides and these particular sections, and build your course, your fall schedule around these sections so that we can make sure that we deliver these sections to you in the format that we're going to do that. The other thing that I just want to remind everybody is that we expect you to be able to register pretty quickly the first week of June. Our goal is to get you emailed by May the 24th, but we have to work within the university to do that. So we're working to do that, and you will get that email that says, get ready, set, go, registration is open. And if you've done your homework and you've looked at your degree plans and your catalog and you know from this deck the sections to enroll in, then you will be ready because you'll be able to put those sections into your cart. Go back and watch that registration webinar that Karina referred to, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and you will be ready to just hit that button that says enroll. So if you have any questions, and we know there's going to be a lot of questions and everyone has unique circumstances, you are welcome to email us at jendal@utdallas.edu, and we will get answers back to you specific to you. So hold on tight, get ready to roll. I think the other thing that I just want to mention, because we've gotten a number of questions about this and emails about, well, what if I want to defer? Well, it's way too early to defer. You got lots of time to defer before the first day of class. So we need to be nimble and agile as what has been required for the last 16 months. So let's let this play out and see how things turn out. With the opportunity to arrive late, there's going to be lots of time for visa and consulate offices to open up and for students to hopefully get their visas and have that taken care of. The other reminder with my little megaphone here that I just want to shout out to everybody, is that the remaining decisions from the scholarship committee will be sent out tomorrow. We've had a lot of questions about that. So for those of you that are still looking for a scholarship decision, those will be going out tomorrow morning or first thing on Friday morning. So stay tuned for that. So let's move back and bounce back to Josephine, our resident expert on immigration, with some other questions that I think are really important for all of you. And these are answers to questions that you've been emailing us and the ISSO about. So Josephine, you want to give us some immigration thoughts?
Sure. And thanks again, Monica. I do have a few final things just to leave you with about immigration and entering the United States. A number of you have reached out to the ISSO because you may already have a visa for another category, for example, as a tourist, because you may have come to the US before. Please know that while you are able to enter the US with that visa category, you're not able to lawfully study. And you wouldn't be able to study under that category unless you apply for a change of status, which takes a significant period of time. So we do not recommend entering the United States with another visa category that's different from what you're actually going to be doing when you are in the US. Another thing, and I know that this has various levels of difficulty, but as I know many of you are coming from a variety of different countries around the world who have had challenges with visa appointments, what some students have let us know is they've had some success reaching out to another consulate, maybe in another part of their country, if their country is big enough to have several of them, or in another neighboring country where they have been able to get a visa interview. We know some of our students from Iran are familiar with these, some of our other countries that have neighboring consulates that allow them to apply for a US visa. So that's something that you're going to need to investigate based on where you are and where you may be able to travel to, but it's something that may be an option for you. Now, there have been a lot of questions about the presidential proclamation and any exemptions to it. So I'm just going to take a few minutes to bring it up very briefly, but I do want to let you know that the ISSO is having a webinar this afternoon in our time, 1 to 2:30 CST, where we're going to spend a lot more time about this. But just know that the general rule is that, due to the situation, a number of countries and regions have been restricted in their ability to enter the United States. F1 students who are coming for fall classes have an exemption in terms of their ability to enter the US with a visa, with an F1 visa for fall classes. So if you have your I-20, it's got the fall start date, right? You still need to have a visa, but you are able to travel to the United States because you're covered under the national interest exemption. And really what that means is our federal government is affirming that your study and arrival in the United States is in our national interest. We know that you all are some of the smartest, talented students, young professionals in the world, and we really want to see you here. And so that is why you are one of the visa categories that have been exempted from that restriction of entry. So we really look forward to seeing you in the fall. I'll take the next slide, please. There's a few other requirements that are I'd like to share with you in terms of what you would need to do as you're planning for your fall, right? Monica spent a lot of time talking to you, Karina, about enrollment and the courses and how important it is to move forward. Please keep in mind the deadlines for payment of tuition. If you look for, or if you just Google UTD academic calendar, they'll give you all of the dates for when payment is due for your enrollment. So please follow that closely. You do not want to lose the opportunity to have that seat in that class that you've planned out already. Additionally, when you arrive in the United States, you will need to take a TB test. I know that you are able to get a TB test outside of the United States. However, we will accept results that are taken and tests that are taken and read in the United States. So please don't do that before you leave. It's one of the things that you will need to do when you arrive, and then provide the results to the Student Health Center. Additionally, as I mentioned before, we have the immigration document verification, IDV, which we're going to ask you to submit an I-comment, which is going to be your I-94, your passport, your visa, so that we can just verify that everything is okay with your immigration record, and we can report to DHS that you successfully entered the United States. And then there is an international orientation requirement. We have skilled staff members who have been working and have many years experience helping you transition to life in the United States, life in an American classroom, life on our campus. They have a lot of information to share with you. You're going to want to get it early so that you are as prepared when classes start to be able to jump in and really focus on your academic and professional growth. So keep these items in mind. I know it's a lot of information, but we know that you all are capable of handling a lot of things. And if you have questions, you can reach out to the resources that are available to you in the ISSO or throughout the university. Monica is going to take it next to discuss some final things.
Thank you, Josephine. I appreciate that so much. You know, the most exciting time here on the University of Texas at Dallas's campus is orientation. And Norma's going to put up our orientation save the date slide, because there is no event that happens that Monica gets more excited about than welcoming all of our bright, smart international students from around the world. It is a celebration. And so we want you to mark your calendar to save the dates for these. We will be conducting program orientations right after that event. And if you know somebody who's gone through the Jindal School International Orientation, they'll tell you that it's a fun experience and something to really look forward to. So I cannot wait to see all of your smiling faces for that event on August the 19th. Now, Josephine mentioned this a second ago. We want to talk just briefly about some other things that you can do aside from figuring out your fall schedule and getting yourself enrolled. So Norma's going to put up a slide, and it's the things to think about doing before arriving in the U.S. So many of you know students who have come before you. Reach out to them, reach out to alumni of the Jindal School that you might know that are in the United States, specifically in Texas. Get their transition advice, make a plan. It'll help make time fly faster, get you excited about your arrival. The other thing is we want you to connect with key social media groups. We have the most diverse campus practically in America. Students from over 100 countries worldwide. And you're going to see on a couple of slides from now how diverse that is with our student organizations and their Facebooks. But connect with them so that you can make friends, easily get great advice about transitioning into the U.S. And then also our international student organizations are so good that they arrange for pickup of students, and you're going to learn a lot about what our International Indian Student Association does. It's really amazing and it's magical. And then the other thing is just get on our campus map website and kind of figure out the campus and how it all works. It will get you really excited about what is going to come in a very short period of time. I mentioned the Indian Student Association, and I'm going to put it up on the screen. We have many of our students from India who are on this webinar. So look at this slide that's coming up, the Indian Student Association and the services that they provide. It is really amazing. I'm quite certain it's the biggest in the United States, maybe the biggest in the world. And what they do to support their friends from back home, the people that come behind it, the way that they pay it forward is to providing all of these great resources for our students. But that's not all, folks. Look at the next slide, and you're going to see the African, the Arab, the Bangladesh, the Chinese, the Nigerian, the Pakistani, the Sri Lankan, Taiwanese, Vietnamese. I mean, if you need it, we got it. And so we want you to connect with all of these through their social media sites and get to know some students here and get to figure out how you can make the transition to a really successful graduate here, a career here at the Naveen Jindal School of Management. Now, I want to remind everybody on the next slide, if you did not watch this webinar, you absolutely should. Gaurav Shekhar, who is the degree program director for our Business Analytics Flex and online program, He did this webinar with me, and he was the star of the show. So Gaurav, can you give folks a little 1-minute commercial about how this is beneficial for them to go back and watch it, and remind them of the link that's on this slide where they can go and watch it?
Absolutely, Dean Powell. Everybody, first of all, thank you for being with us this morning. This is always an exciting experience to have all of you in a webinar. Well, this particular recording, which is available on the YouTube channel of the Jindal School of Management, highlights some of the scenarios. Like if you're a student who comes with a scholarship or becomes a TA later in the semester or gets an internship, how does your financial situation looks like, and how exactly can you pay for your tuition, your living expenses, or any expenses that may arise during the degree here at UT Dallas. But let me assure you one thing. Whatever your scenario is, whether you have a scholarship or you don't have a scholarship, or you have an internship, or you're a student worker, whatever it is, your degree is possible. And I'm not saying that as a program director or somebody who works at the university, but I'm saying it as a student, as a former student who has gone through this process myself. There are a boatload of resources available, and everybody, these are thousands and thousands of students who have been at UT Dallas. They have gone through this experience and they were able to achieve their dreams, and that is to get a great degree. So please watch this webinar. We have highlighted some very specific scenarios. Now you may have questions and we are here to answer. All your program directors are here to answer those questions, but this is some very precise and pointed advice about financing, and we look forward to your questions. But all the best, and we look forward to you being here at UT Dallas. Dr. Powell.
Gaurav, thank you so much. We've had so much great feedback from students who have watched this webinar, and we just want to remind all of you that is there because it is a fabulous resource, and Gaurav is definitely speaking from the truth. So what are your next steps? What should you be doing after this webinar is over? First of all, go study your degree plans, look at the catalog, look at the program course list that we have provided in this deck. Figure out your fall schedule, build it, put it in your card, and be ready to just hit enroll when we get those holds removed and we notify you it's time to enroll. We also want you to stay in touch with us. You know, I've been in this industry almost 35 years. So you're talking to a golden oldie who knows programs across the country. And I will tell you, the one thing that distinguishes us from everybody else is that we sincerely work to help every single student who contacts us. So there's a personal touch here, and it makes this a really special place to be. And we are excited that you're here and you're listening to us today and you're getting all this great information. And we want you to stay in touch with us because we want to be committed to you and helping you make these transitions. We want you to reach out to our great program directors. They are fabulous in answering students' questions and conducting their own degree program webinars. Get to know them. It'll make your journey when you land here even easier. We will notify you when you're clear to enroll, so just stay tuned. That will come quickly. In the meantime, what's really important to us is that you stay safe and that you be well and you take care of your families. We know that there is hardship where you are, and we send our best wishes and our thoughts that things will stabilize and get better in your home countries very, very soon. Now, I want to take a chance to introduce Dean Gonzalez. He has worked hard to create an interesting research opportunity for all of you. You may have seen the email that actually came from his office on the MARS program. So Dean Gonzalez, you want to tell everybody, and we got quite a big crew here, an opportunity to get some research funds too. So you want to tell them about the MARS program?
Thank you, Dean Powell. It's my pleasure to do so. The MARS program is a fantastic opportunity to secure up to $1,000 towards your tuition. We want all new master's students to pitch their best business ideas or research ideas. And it's a very simple application. You should have received the link, as Dr. Dean Powell said. And I really look forward to seeing your application very soon. Please ask any questions, direct the questions to our office, the Graduate Education Office, and we'll be happy to help in any way. I also want to add, as Dean Powell says, that I encourage all of you to enroll early and secure those courses that you want. We are confident that you're going to be able to join us soon, but even if you're not here by the start of the semester, we will find ways to get you to keep up with your courses, and then when you get here, you will be able to smoothly transition into your classes. I really hope to see all of you very, very soon, and I will pass it back to Dean Powell.
Dean Gonzalez, thank you so very much. You know, I think the next slide really says it all. Great days are ahead at UT Dallas, and you being here is just going to make it all the better. We know that this webinar has resulted in probably a lot of questions, and I'm sure that the chat, you've noticed the chat is open and there are some questions out there. So I want to bring our magical wizard Norma into the conversation so that we can address as many questions as we can in this remaining time. We clearly probably are not going to be able to address them all, but I promise you that if you email us at gendal@utdallas.edu, we'll individually address many of those questions. This is a lot to think about. You're thinking about, you know, what do I enroll in? Well, those courses that we put on our lists, those are the courses you want to enroll in, those specific sections, as we are getting ready to help and pivot in any way that we need to regarding what your actual arrival is. So we're ready to do that, and we're excited to do that. So Norma, what kind of questions do we have?
We have a lot of great questions. The first one, if we were arriving on the October 18th start date, do we start classes on August 23rd or October 18th?
No, that's a great question, Norma. Thank you. We're going to find a way for you to be engaged in classes on the start date for the semester, which would be the August 23rd date. So you will just be arriving and going through the COVID testing, hopefully getting a vaccine and jumping right into face-to-face instruction, not losing a beat.
So I'm going to go ahead and put Josephine on the screen because we have some I-20 questions. The first one is, do I need to get an updated I-20 if I am arriving in the US by the October 18th start date?
Yes, you absolutely do. If you are going to be, so the time when you would keep the original August 23rd start date is if you're arriving in the 30 days before August 23rd or just a few days afterwards. You really don't want to push it past a week because you don't want to risk being denied entry into the United States. If it's going to be more than a couple of days after that, you will need to let the ISSO know that to request an updated I-20 for the October 18th start date. That will not be new financial documents. What it will require is sign off on a form from your academic department letting us know, yes, this person is enrolled, they're in a course, they're able to come in and resume the instruction in person on October 18th, and then we can provide you with the updated I-20.
There's a few students who have asked if they can arrive in the first or second, even third week of September.
It is something that, so technically no, because immigration regulations state that you should be here by the first day of class. They do have some wiggle room for a couple of days. However, if you take it that late, again, you risk being turned away from the United States after you've made part of your journey or at the airport, and you don't want to risk that. So if you are unable to come before classes start or a day, 2, 3 days afterwards, go ahead and get an updated I-20 for the October 18th start date. And that allows you to arrive in September 19th through October 18th with that October 18th start date I-20.
So technically, Josephine, you can arrive the third week, but you just need to change your I-20 to arrive for October 18th.
Correct.
So that's key.
Perfect. And I'm not sure if this will be for Dr. Powell or Josephine, but once they figure out that they probably won't make it for that August 23rd date or within that first week, who do they reach out to for that new I-20 or for that late arrival letter? ISSO, program director, what would be the process for that?
So let me jump in and I'll answer the first part. You would want to reach out to your degree program director and have them do a late arrival letter for you. Then you will need to notify the ISSO. So Josephine, tell them about that portion.
Yes, in order to notify the ISSO, you're really going to want to go into I-comment. So when you apply for your I-20, there's sort of 3 sections in the e-form, right? First is about getting your I-20. Second is about how you receive your I-20, whether it's by express mail, et cetera. And then the third step is about what are your plans afterwards. There's an e-form in there called Visa Update e-form. That's how you let us know either I have a visa, I'm coming on this date, or I'm going to be a little bit late, I'm coming on this date. And that's how we want to track that so we can make sure that we know and we are ready to issue an I-20 for you if needed, and or take any other steps if we need to intervene with your courses. So it's going to be in the visa update form. If you get a little turned around by it, please know you can always reach out during our live chat hours, advising hours for prospective students, and they can give you the direct link for that e-form.
Perfect. Dr. Powell, our next question has to do with official documents. We have a lot of our students who need to submit official documents, and we've had several questions about if they'll only be able to enroll after those official documents are received, or can they enroll before that? What's the timeline?
That is a great question, Norma. Yes, you can enroll even if those official documents have not yet been received here at UT Dallas. As Karina said, you want to try and get those to us before the start of the semester. We're going to work with students individually if there are complications, but that is not going to keep you from enrolling for the fall.
The next question is, if for some reason they're not able to make it to the US for the first semester, can they do the first semester online and then join us in spring 2022?
If you're enrolled in those sections that we recommend, absolutely. You know, that was one of the great successes from last fall. We had quite a number of students who joined us virtually last fall and then joined us in the spring. So it could be that that happens for a number of individuals who aren't able to get here in the fall. Again, you'll need to work with ISSO to make sure that they modify your I-20 for a spring arrival. But if you are enrolled in the fall classes, we will make sure that those courses are delivered to you.
If a student is able to arrive by mid-September, within that 30 days of the October 18th start date, can they start attending their classes after quarantine, or will they have to wait until October 18th?
No, as soon as you go through the quarantine period, you get your negative COVID test and go get that vaccine. We want to encourage every student to do that. We can't mandate that, but I'm sure all of our international students really would like to get that vaccine, as it may not be available in their home country. But as soon as you're past the quarantine and you're clear, you jump into classes and meet your classmates and your faculty. And regardless of where you are, I think this is really important for all of you to know, regardless of whether you arrive for August the 23rd or October the 18th or somewhere in between, you are going to be able to engage with your faculty and with your classmates. We're not going to let that stop you from launching your academic career here. We're going to be figuring out and pivoting to make it accommodate you.
Perfect. Well, we have about 2 minutes left, and I do want to encourage anybody who has any unanswered questions to email us at jindal@utdallas.edu, but I want to make sure you have time for some closing remarks.
Well, thank you, Norma. First, I want to thank all of my colleagues. You know, when I say that we have an army of people that are committed to the success of all of our students, whether they're international or they're local or they're from Canada, South America, Vietnam, India, Bangladesh, wherever you are, we have an amazing team of individuals that want to get to know you, want to be a part of your journey here and the success that you will have after you graduate. That's what makes the Jindal School just a really premier destination for international students. So I want to thank my colleagues that have joined me today to answer these complicated questions. Josephine and her team in the International Students and Scholars Office, who do a remarkable job of handling all of those immigration questions and I-20 questions and arrival questions, and then help students, you know, once they're here with, you know, OPT questions and internship approval process questions. And then Karina and her team that just do a remarkable job of helping students navigate their academic career. And there aren't really, honestly, better degree program directors anywhere in the world. We have the best and most remarkable set of what we call PDs, program directors, who really just, I mean, I look back at this last 16 months and I look at what they have done for their students in a virtual environment, you know, meeting with students in groups online once a week. You know, ITM program had this great hangout meeting once a week. And, you know, we have 80 student organizations here in the Jindal School alone. And a little pandemic did not stop them from having all of these great interactions with employers and competitions and engagement. And so it's a pretty amazing place to be, and we are excited about you coming to be a part of it. But in the meantime, we want you to focus on, you know, the situations that are in your home countries. We wish all of you the best. We hope that this wave of COVID will be over soon, and our thoughts are with you and your families. And if there's anything that we can do while you're tackling that on the home front to help get you enrolled and get you ready for what comes next, we want you to be in touch with us. Thank you to Dean Gonzalez, who I know gave time out of his busy schedule to be with us today, and our program directors who have been listening as well. They will be having continued communication with all of you, and many of them will likely hold webinars to help answer questions about those courses that we recommended in the different sections. So be looking for that information as well. And in the meantime, can't do this without you, Norma. Thank you for being our wonderful webinar wizard in the background. And thank you to all of you for taking time to come and be with us today. Please be in touch with us. And in the meantime, it's just really important that you be safe and you be well, and that you know that our thoughts are with you. So we look forward to hearing from you soon, and we look forward to seeing those enrollments soon too. Take care. Thanks, everyone. Bye.